So Brian, friend of mine, new friend of mine, I happened to meet when I was in Breckenridge, Colorado, and I was at an SEO conference by SearchCon, put on by Jim, and there's some really, 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 really smart people there. How many of you ever been into a room and felt like you weren't the smartest one in the room? Give me a one.
Can I put a one in there?
Yeah, it's like, look, everybody must think they're the smartest one in the room. Yeah. Look at, nobody's answering my question. All right. Well, let me answer my own question. You guys are much smarter than I am in this room. All right. So we got together and talked a little bit, and I happened to have lunch and sit with Brian, and I am the smartest one in the room. Good, Dante. You could do the next webinar for us. So Brian and I got to talking a little bit, and what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And it's kind of hard for me to always describe what I do. I'm not sure Brian actually knew what we do when I described what I thought I knew what I was doing, which obviously you could tell sometimes I don't. So Brian's a really good guy. He took some of the things that we're talking about, went out there and basically, I think, tried to prove us wrong, because that's what he does. He's analytical, and if it works. So Brian, give him a little background about who you are, what you do, and why did you even bother messing with us?
Yeah, so I used to work for an agency, recently broke off from them in January, so I do have an agency experience to answer the question about is this good for agencies or not. Typically, I had initially got involved with Google stacking through some other companies, and that's kind of how Patrick and I really hit. We talked about IFTTT, Google stacking, leverage Google properties in order to just improve your overall ranking. And really, the thing that as Patrick mentioned, I'm a bit cynical when it comes to testing out new software. I love testing it, but I also like to see, does this actually work? And long and the short of it, right at SearchCon, beginning in April, I had launched a new site for my business. I figured, what the hell, let's go ahead and put my own site on the chopping block with this. A little bit risky of a move for, considering software that really haven't tested before, but I understand how Google Drive stacking works. Patrick and I have talked about it, and I was like, hey, what the hell, let's go for it, guys. So what I have here, can you guys all see my screen? Okay. Can you see my screen okay?
Now? Yes, okay, good. Hey, Art, how you doing, bud?
Outstanding.
Thanks. Cool.
So basically what I have here, let me zoom in on this.
Yeah, make it a little bit
my
bigger.
Website.
That'd be great. Also, everybody, if it's a little small, top right-hand corner, you can make your GoToMeeting a little bit bigger, but there you go, Brian, thank you. Cool. Better. Awesome.
Cool, bear with me 1 second here.
Oh, shit. Are you one of them analytical people that deals in numbers and statistics and crap like that?
All the time, man. I love statistics. But so let's take a quick peek at this. Basically, what you guys are looking at here is
you're a little too big. I can't read the left side.
Okay, so how's that? Okay. Yeah, how's that for you guys?
That's even worse. Make it smaller.
There. Let's. I'll kind of talk you through what I'm seeing here. So basically, is I'm looking at a. This is link assistance tool. It's their SEO Spyglass. Really good tool for looking at competitive analysis of different domains. What I like about it is it highlights. You can see these green with the winners in each of these particular parameters. So we've got domain strength, their version of PageRank. We've got Alexa rank, domain age, total backlinks, a bunch of different metrics here. You can see my site here in the first column definitely does not win out. In fact, if we were to zoom in on this, you can see my total backlinks. I only have 2 backlinks to a site that I launched mid-April. Again, this is a brand new site, not an expired domain. The reason I use this is because I figured, let's actually use a good website, not a 123.xyz, throwaway site. And I also did not want to use anything that was an expired domain, just super clean test. So as you can see, very little. So I'm going up against sites that have 260 backlinks, 1,100 backlinks, 52, and 855. These are all backlinks pointing at their money site, not necessarily a T1 or any kind of tiered linking structure. So you can see it's a very, there's no way I should be winning on this.
I agree.
After one shot of Google Sheets, or the Backlink Factory, I'm on page 9, fairly low down here, but you can see at the very least, I'm on page 9. That's after one round pointing this at my GMB. And how I went about doing this.
Does that mean you weren't anywhere
I was
before?
not ranking it all.
Okay.
Not in the top 100.
Cool.
0. And again, this is a site that launched in April. So this first round, when we first bring Backlink Factory, this is what I ran into. I ran it one time, popped right up in page 9. And you can see we've got, after a second round, content marketing, Loveland, I'm already on page 3. So this is 2 rounds of a single folder stack, single CSV. So 2 CSVs at different, push through at different times. And I'm already on page 3 for that. I did it one more time, and you can see we've got, as far as Google ranking, it's already coming clear up. Now, the one thing I wanted to show you, I'm experiencing a little bit of a dance, bounce back and forth here. But for the keyword Loveland SEO, we've got a little bit of a dance going on. But as of the June 9th, this is the term I'm going after right here, Loveland SEO. You can see this is organic growth in Google. For those interested in this tool, it's rank tracker again by SEO Power Suite or Link Assistant. And what the reason I like that is because I can really drill down to granular city level metrics. I can do it from my GMB location, both on mobile, Google, as well as maps. So very, very granular. Again, looking at all the data, we want to make sure that we're getting this thing accurate. As you can see here, we've got a little bit of a dance when I ran it today, but in a matter of May, 14th through June 9th, this climbed clear up to number 2, position 2 for Loveland SEO in the SERP. Pretty incredible, pretty powerful stuff here. And really how I went about doing this is in Backlink Factory. For my primary keywords, I just went into Search Console, looked at terms that maybe I would want to rank for, threw them in here, threw a variation of that keyword into the secondary keyword field, and then just did that variant and pointed them back to my GMB listing. Super simple. And also filled these just as Henrik as well. One thing I found that's extremely relevant as well, Henrik mentioned siloing and putting it in the proper structure, the same thing, but also using map location. So here's an example. So essentially what I've done here is kind of following what Hendrik's recommendation there is in a real clean silo structure. What I've done is I've actually gone onto Google Maps, and Google already recognizes a lot of these particular areas. For example, Stanton Creek or Greenstone, any of these particular things, Google already recognizes those as a valid map listing. So what I've done is gone in here and put my primary keyword near, and it's basically doing a near me search for my GMB. So I'm going into Google Maps, figuring out, geographic landmarks near where I'm at, and then creating a vertical stack based on that. So down in Backlink Factory, I'm going to the lower left-hand corner, into this custom keyword stack, ticking that box, and that's where I'm just putting geographical landmarks with my primary head terms. And based on that alone, that's how I achieved that particular case study. Very powerful stuff, super simple to do. And it's solely focused on the map variants and GMB. I haven't even done the link shortening. So
go back to your map.
Hopefully that gives everyone an idea of how powerful this stuff is.
Go back to your map real quick again.
What was that, Patrick?
Can you go back to your map URL?
Yeah, so what I'm looking at is different geographical landmarks, such as Fossil Lake, perhaps this Boyd Lake State Park. And I'm looking at these particular geographic landmarks and putting those into sheets as folders and creating a silo structure based on geographic landmarks.
So the Lego Vista Mobile Home Park would be a landmark.
Potentially, yeah.
And
exactly.
If you drill down your map,
or
right? If you drill down your map to get a closer view, you'll start to see a lot more landmarks like libraries, you know, those the symphonies and stuff like that as well, right?
Exactly. Parks, natural areas, schools, national monuments, any of those, it really helps paint a more holistic picture when it comes to your Google Maps listing. This is the area we're talking about, as opposed to saying just a broad, here's generally the area that we're looking at.
Right. So what we're saying is that when we accomplish this, Google is actually paying attention to the relevancy of nearby places to associate you with. Is that correct? Yeah, Karen, we know it's his voice is a little garbled, but can't do anything about it. So that's really all you did was just create an association with your particular area. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, all I did was create an association on the map to my Google My Business. And essentially, one of the things that Google My Business looks at for, you know, obviously relevancy, proximity, prominence, I'm fulfilling all three of those by more or less painter for Google as to where my business is at.
So when you're creating your structure, what anchors did you use in the sheets? Same as folders, question mark?
No. So what I used there were my primary head terms that I pulled from Search Console. So Loveland SEO, Loveland SEO Consultant, Loveland Social Media Marketing, Loveland Marketing, Loveland Marketing Company, fairly keyword rich anchors on that. And all of that linked back to the map variants that are native within Backlink Factory.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So the relevancy of the anchors to the points of interest in the area that you want to service, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which literally could be 2 miles or 20 miles.
Yeah, we did a buddy of mine, we did a case study on Tuesday, and he actually, in doing a similar kind of thing like this, was able to push up an attorney 60 miles away onto page 2.
Wow. And where was he prior to that?
It's not a small town. We're talking a town of 30,000 people.
Maybe one of the things that we could do, because this is a little bit hard for everybody to understand for whatever reason, you're kind of going in and out quite frequently. I could do a little video and kind of go over these things as the actual recipe.
Yeah, sorry about that,
guys. Really clear that this helps move the needle, right? And that's basically what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should emphasize a little bit what Brian is doing. He's hitting the GMB with the variances. The GMB in itself, I assume, Brian, that's correct, is the major website, your major money site is the web page that you are using, not the Google My Business website on the GMB in itself, right? So you're pointing from the GMB to your major website. Is that correct?
Yeah, my GMB listing does have the primary website listed.
Yeah.
But the only thing I'm pointing this at is my GMB listing. So going back into Backlink Factory, GMB maps, this entire process was I'm simply using this variant here. We'll say, let's not do 405, let's do 50.
Brian, what I'm trying to emphasize is that these variances you are pointing at here, with all the links which you put into the sheets, all point to your GMB, and your GMB points to your money side, and that's what moves you up in the organic rankings. As for the organics,
yes,
and for the GMB in itself, it's what shoots that up into the 3-pack.
You know, what's kind of interesting, Henrik, with that statement, it kind of sounds like you're saying that your GMB is your buffer site to your website.
It is because the GMB, you will live with all these links, but if you have as the website on your GMB, when you optimize it, you can either choose to point to your business GMB website or to the money site.
Right.
And if you're pointing to the money site, that what I'm trying to say, that what you saw in the ranking tracking, that the organic rankings moved up, and that's due to the fact that you are hammering the GMB with the backlinks, that's pushing that organic rankings up. But in addition, if Brian, I presume further out to the right, you have the Google rankings as well. There we can see that the GMB in itself will also increase in ranking.
When you say GMB listing, what exactly is it? Is it pointing to the G site within the GMB or the whole knowledge panel? Well, there's no real G site in the GMB. There's a biz site, but not a G site. So how would you answer that, Brian? When you say GMB listing, what exactly is it? Is it pointing to the G site within the GMB or the whole knowledge panel?
The knowledge panel. I'm specifically using it. If we were to open up, hopefully we don't crash this here, it's pointing to my Google My Business. So, and that if I were to click through on apps, it's going to be this particular listing as well. So it's solely the verified Google My Business listing,
right,
that we're linking to. So now, obviously, this has been a very limited test. Didn't want to taint it, so to speak, with a bunch of other things. Obviously, taking a very analytic approach, I want to test one thing. Right. Does it work? Yes or no? Rinse, repeat. Now, there's a lot of other things that we could do with it. I mean, we could look at tiered link building, tiered structures. As you can see, this is the primary website that I've got here. We could do a lot of different things. I could go into the website that's associated with my Google My Business. And on separate accounts, I have seen, just as Ranking Factory's seen with your other tools, if you take your posts and you're posting twice a day, that can give a massive lift in your relevancy on Google My Business. Just for the purposes of this test only, it was very controlled. It was the variations and variants on it were monitored quite closely. And
you have to do that, otherwise you don't know what really is affecting the needle to move one way or the other. If you got 32 different things going, you don't know what works and what doesn't.
Exactly. The only thing I've used on this, and as you and I talked about, Patrick, the only variant at all with this is I was involved in some SEMrush chats via Twitter, and it looks like one of the tools that I used there was giving me a couple backlinks, but definitely that, I mean, to be in all fairness, that is the only other variant that could have provided links to my site.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
I mean, we all use different tools for
Sure.
this. So, and I'm not going to ask everybody what you're using, but we want to know how, for SEO analysis, don't you want to know what your competition backlinks are, Brian?
Absolutely.
So how do you go about finding what is actually backlinked to your site? Can you share that with everybody, what you do?
Yeah, so a couple things that I do.
I mean, open it up and prove it, show it.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at here, this is the link assistant.
Yep.
And basically what we can do is look at my backlink profile.
Yep.
Look at my backlinks. There was the SearchCon profile. And then this is a completely unrelated thing. I did a quick DIY moonshine recipe, and I'm getting, as you can see, a no follow link back there. So this is literally.
Wait a minute. I only see 2 links here.
There are only 2 links. Now,
no, how many links did you create in Sheets?
A lot.
Where are they? How come they don't show up?
That's the beauty of Sheets. They do not show up. Now I tested this again using yesterday. We tested it with a site called redbot.org. And we'll just take a quick peek at this because it will return a 200 code.
I want everybody to listen to what's happening here.
So redbot.org, this is essentially, and hats off to Jim Kreinbrink for this. He actually showed me this particular tool. We're going to copy that Google Sheets link here.
Remember that, Redbot, okay?
As you can see, this is showing a valid response code. And if we view the body, scroll down here.
Kind of popped it over to the right there a little bit. See it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian, you have the same in the GMB poster. That's the same tool checking for the.
Okay. And see, that's one of the things that was the beauty of this test, though, is I do not have any other ranking factory software. My results are solely based on Backlink Factory. There are no other tools that I've used here. So that's one of the things. Now, again, if any SEO knows, like, don't rely on one single tool to try and get your results. In looking in SEM Rush, this is yet another one that I've used. If we were to go and take a look at my site here.
Pay attention, everybody. This is awesome. Everybody uses SEM Rush to get all the data that you need to beat your competition, or on the reverse side, what? Your competition looks at SEM Rush to get the information so they can beat you.
So let's take a look here. SEO toolkit. Let's look at our backlink analysis. And what's so great about Sheets and using Sheets to obtain backlinks is it's almost like Black Ops covert kind of stuff here.
Please do not use those words in my room.
Okay, sorry.
Now we're gonna get stuff. Oh, you guys are Black Hat. Yeah.
No, it's not Black Hat. But it's the beauty of this is, so I mean, you can see that this is recognizing 199 links. Now, what those links are coming from, and this is again why, in all transparency, I want to let people know I was involved in some tweet chats, so you can see tweet chat,
yeah,
and it's seeing that I've got some links there. Here's that apple moonshine recipe right here.
Yeah.
And you can see I've got a number of links because that was shared.
But you had all over again before, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, completely didn't matter here. I mean, these are back, these are just
April, May, going back.
Yeah. These have already been here. But I mean, what's super cool with this is that referring domains are seeing 4, referring IPs 4. There is nothing about Sheets here. So as far as a competitor trying to reverse engineer this process,
competitors can't see what we're doing. Anthony nailed it. How many of you guys think that's really cool? Nobody knows, nobody can figure out what you're doing to get your client ranked, and they can never ever figure out and beat it unless they're part of Ranking Factory and Backlink Factory.
And
Wow. Michael's wow with exclamations.
two
Very
links.
cool. Stealth. Oh,
260.
hey, I like this.
1108.
Henry.
52.
Stealth Factory. Stealth Factory.
I like it.
So is this cool, guys? All right. But the point is, guys, is that one of the biggest questions that we get, and Henry, I mean, how many times have we answered this, right? You know, I've been to site.google.com and put it in and nothing shows up. Or does the fact that these are not indexing, or the fact that they cannot be seen, or the fact that they're not crawled by Rush and they don't see these links, how is that possibly helping us rank if they don't exist?
The beauty about this is that Google loves Google, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the effect that we're seeing of it. And the other measures that Simros and Moss is trying to put in the face of us is actually not of our concern as long as we're within the G factory, we should call it, because whatever we pump of authority, Moss might not recognize it, Simros might not recognize it, but who cares as long as we're ranks? And we're just giving the other SEOs a hard time to figure out what we're doing. So the basic idea about it not getting indexed, who cares if our bar for document not getting indexed as long as the map's getting indexed and the organic rankings is actually pumping up. You know, we had oceans coming from nowhere to actually being everywhere. And that was because we were using the D structure to pump it up.
Yeah, this is another graph here, just showing you initial bump here with it April 14th when I did the first pass, did another pass, and you can see it just spikes here.
Right.
And it's I mean, we have a little bit of a dance and a little bit of chop going on here, but
you're still up there, baby.
Yeah, it spikes, it sticks. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It works.
And let me also say this. So far, and Paul, is really kind of making a point here, which we haven't got to, but you haven't messed with iframes yet, right?
I have done none of that. The only thing that has been done on this is map variants right back to my GMB. Very clean test. Right. That is the only thing that has been done. There's no iframes. I haven't put this into a G site. I haven't done any traditional link building other than Backlink Factory.
That's awesome.
Which is, I guess, a little untraditional. But that one single approach. And what's really nice with this as well, that I've been seeing on a different site, is if you're pulling those links that you're just on the cusp of ranking for on page 1.4, so you go into Search Console, find what you're ranking, maybe rank 11 through 25, just needs a little kick in the butt. Put that into Backlink Factory.
Right.
And that's going to give you that little extra oomph that you need to get up and over the hump onto page 1.
No, it's awesome. I mean, I really appreciate you in a number of different ways, because you don't have any relationship with us. You're just a random guy that I met in a random event, talked randomly about how do we do certain things, shared an idea about what we're doing and what we thought were, pretty exciting solutions to a problem and results that we were getting. Not scientific, just the fact that we were getting results. And listen, if you're doing Ranking Factory and GMB Factory and Backlink Factory and you put all that shit together, it's like, okay, what moved the needle? And it all moves the needle in some way. But you were like the guy that has to disprove Christianity by proving it's wrong and end up finding out that maybe it's not wrong.
Exactly.
Not a political or religious, inference here, but a lot of people, when they go to disprove something because they don't believe it or they want to know, they ultimately end up proving what it is that they were trying to disprove.
Exactly. And my attitude in testing a lot of different software and a lot of different approaches is, let's see if like you're saying, we can disprove it, or let's go into it with a bit of skepticism and cynicism, thinking that, talk's cheap. Let's see what the results actually are.
Right.
And if the results can speak for themselves, I definitely think they do in this case.
Well, I really appreciate, you taking the time to reach out to me to say, hey, Pat, I need to share this with you because I think it's important for you to know from my perspective, i.e. your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So is this, I guess my question, and Henrik and I have had this conversation before as well, are you willing to share this with your other SEO guys, or do you want to just keep it to yourself?
I think, that if anyone is interested in learning about this, I would be more than happy to discuss it with them. Now, as far as just willy-nilly going out there and saying, hey, everyone, this is how we're doing it, I think I'm a little more guarded than that. I think that, never revealing your best secrets to everyone and anyone. Now, the people that you trust, that are close to you, close and in your inner circle, absolutely. I think that's, in the SEO industry, I think that's the only way that we get better, is if we understand and learn from each other that this is how, this is an effect and an effective methodology to move forward with. But yeah, I would be
kind of this, Brian.
Yeah.
In order for you or anybody else to actually share something with other people, i.e. smart people, qualified in what they know and what they do, debatable people that, don't believe anything that you say, this gives you the confidence to go to people that you're friends with and share with them something that you've proven to be correct, and you have confidence to be able to do that. So you're really not hyping things up. You're just saying, hey, Jim, hey, Bill, we're friends. This actually works. I want to share it with you. And you have that confidence. I'm not saying go out to the world and broadcast it.
Oh, no. Yeah, to your point about that, yes, absolutely. I mean, what I love about taking an analytical and data-driven approach to this, I mean, if you look at just looking at these metrics here, you can't argue with data.
Right.
I mean, it either is or it isn't. And to say, I mean, yeah, we've got a little bit of a decline right here. We'll see how it levels out. If it's the dance, great. If we need to take corrective action, great.
Yeah.
But the data is undeniable. I mean, it's right there. It's black and white. I would have no problem in printing something like this off and say, look, these are the results I'm getting. This is my methodology behind it. You can do it yourself. It's repeatable. It's verifiable. You can't question that.
And you can do it manually if you want. That's why we have people here to learn.
Absolutely.
Take what we know, and hey, if you don't want to spend a couple $100, go out and do it yourself. Teach other people. Teach your VAs. But
Brian, in terms of your 2 campaigns, how much power did you put back? I.e., how many links or rows did you actually create for each campaign?
So I think what kind of ended up in a drop, it's in a different account. Let me see if I can pull this up here. One of them, there were 3,000 rows, and I think that's what's resulted in a little bit of a decline there. I think I hit it a little bit too hard on the second goes. But I mean, you can see this is near Bodecker Lake, which is actually on the west side of town, or let's even go out a little closer to where I'm at here. Boyd Lake on Google Maps. I mean, you can physically see it's right here. My business is right in here.
Yeah.
So very close proximity. And with this here, get this guy loaded up.
Yeah, that, once again, I like to go back to that warning, use your own conscience as to what you think, is.
Absolutely.
Pete, Pete's asking, did you send any citations or other Google to your this is a raw, brand new, from the get-go test. So the answer would be no.
No, brand spanking new, and that's the whole point of this particular test was make it super clean. I wanted a brand new website, rather than going out. Now, keep in mind, I guess there is a bit of age to the site, I guess a month, but that technically still would put us in Google's sandbox, so to speak. So yeah, all of this, I do have some branded keyword here.
Yep.
And all of this, I mean, this is so 2,880 links. I mean, it's probably a bit excessive, but yeah, I mean, so we've got close to 7,000 links, give or take, right in here, and this is just for Boyd Lake. We've also got these other. It's a similar sheet for all of these guys here as well. So we've got a really decent amount of links going in here. The biggest thing is you guys have mentioned slow and steady. Be the tortoise, not the hare on this, because in all honesty, I think that's what started to cause a little bit of this decline that we're seeing right here. Is I hit it just a little bit too hard. Well, so I'll go back through and take a look at it.
No. I think I have another solution for a test.
Yeah.
So Henrik, when you make a mistake with this, what are the possibilities of rectifying that mistake?
Well, you can go in and make your what do you call it? Your photos private.
Right? Your delete button.
You don't have to delete them; just make them private.
Or make them private. Yeah, don't get rid of them. Just unpublish them.
Puts it in draft mode.
Right.
No, but just put them into private mode, so it's not shareable. But again, what Brian is seeing there is a decline, and I will bet that within a period of time he will pop up again without doing anything.
Right. So if he's
Patrick, the Google dance is normally 21 days.
Yeah.
What most people are getting concerned about, it's not ranking anymore, it's dropping. Yes, it's dropping because you have been too abusive. So just sit and wait and see if it takes 21 days, it takes 21 days. Do something else, rank something else in the meantime, but it will come up again because Google is not punishing itself. It's just seeing, okay, this guy is being a little bit too active. What he's doing next, and if you have been too abusive, then this dance could last for 70 days rather than 21 days. So,
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah.
But Henrik, I think one of the things that impressed me about what you said in a private conversation is that if you guys go out and hammer this stuff with Money Robot links, you hammer it with SEO Pilot, you hammer it with all these other backlinking tiered PBNs, okay? So when you do that, Brian, how long do those live out in space when you create them?
Well, with an SEO autopilot thing, it's a huge pain in the ass to undo it. I mean, because it's going out and permanently posting stuff to say like a T2 link or T3 link, and to go back through there and undo mass link building like that, oh my goodness.
So basically what
you'd be there forever.
Yeah, and I think the whole point of it is that especially for non-advanced SEO people, newbies coming in, they get sold on do this. You could permanently destroy a client's site.
Oh yeah, GSA. I mean, I had used that at one point again, testing various software. I use GSA, and that's like taking an axe to pull out a sliver. I
Right.
mean, that's like giving you that's basically giving you missile codes.
Right.
And if you don't know what you're doing with it, especially as a noob,
Yeah.
you can permanently blacklist your site
Right.
with that particular software alone.
And so I think what I was trying to say when Henrik, kind of pointed this out to me in one of our other conversations with the group, and that is, and one of our members did this. Adrian, remember Henrik?
Yep.
Right? He made like millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of links. I'm over exaggerating, but you get my point. And he got up to number 2 or number 1, and then he got slammed because I think he made too many. He just put all of his links on private, like Henrik said, and guess what happened? They came back, because when you put those links on private, they don't exist anymore. So all the damage that you did is undone in a single click of one action. You can't really ever hurt yourself permanently by doing any of this stuff with Google, because all you have to do is put it on private and it doesn't exist anymore, but you still have it all. How cool is that? Sorry, I get excited.
Toggle switch links.
And basically, that's pretty much it, right, Henrik?
Yeah, but the conclusion is what Brian have proven to us, that if you just do it in moderate, let's say, chunks, then you will get up. And you can see, is it at June 6th, you had June 7th, you actually hit the top right,
Yep.
the spot number 2.
Yep. June 7th through 9th, I'm at number 2.
Yeah.
And then right at the 12th, I hit it again, and it caused me to drop right there. But you can see massive rank improvements. So let's go back all the way to April 6th, not in the top 50 rank tracking here. And this has been done weekly on automation. So May 16th, we pop up into 47. We're climbing. And this is a really, I mean, we have a little bit of a dip right here. 27 to 39 at the end of May. Yeah, this is a pretty steady incline right here.
That's pretty
all the
awesome.
way up until, I mean, going from June 3rd to the 6th, 29 to 5. And that's a 24 position jump. And then it just kind of levels right here at 2.
So Pete was asking, what are your rankings? I mean, that's really a clear picture. What software are you using right there?
This is Rank Tracker from Link Assistant or SEO Power Suite.
Okay, cool. My point is, why don't you just take those last set of links that you built, put them on private, do nothing else, and, well, actually Henrik was saying wait, right? Yep. Wait, and then if nothing happens, eliminate them and see if you go back to number 2. Not eliminate them, but put them on private. Is that what you're saying, Henrik?
No, I will personally, I will just let it sit and say, okay, I accept.
Leave them for a while and see what happened.
Yeah, 21 days, just don't do anything, let it level, and let the dance kind of do its thing, and then revisit this in 21 days, see how it looks.
Yep.
Right. All right, man, that is really awesome. It really is. I really thank you for bringing that to our attention, showing us that it is moving the needle. I mean, it's moving it. Whether people want to believe it, can't see it, it's like, does air exist? I can't see it, but I breathe it every day, right?
Absolutely.
And so a lot of guys are getting, like Paul in our group, Fuso, he's getting a lot of good results, like you are, doing the same thing. And we just see it every day, more and more and more of, utilizing this and the other tools that we have to just, get you guys ranked. I get amazed every time I see it, because I'm not smart enough to think of this kind of stuff, but we did anyway. So it's amazing. Any last questions for Brian? Now's the time. Is that Ghost browser you're using?
That is.
Browsio, it's Ghost browsing.
Yeah, and I've tested both. Both have their own specific purpose, but for the purposes of this particular demo, this is Ghost browser.
Right. Okay. Any final have you tried with websites? I don't know what you mean. Have you tried with websites? Ghost browser with websites? I don't know the reference. Have you tried with websites? Tried what?
I think the question actually goes, have you tried to do it directly to websites?
Okay.
And what we're saying is don't do it directly to your money site.
Don't.
Go through a buffer, being your GMB, being your build a G site or something else which will sustain the amount of links. If you're pumping all these links on directly on your money site, you'll be dunked.
How much value do you think we're getting from the stack?
As far as link equity,
Yeah.
I would attribute, I mean, we're talking very short tail on anything other than the stacks.
Right.
So we're talking under 3%, in my opinion. I mean, you can see I've got 4 referring domains, 4 referring IPs, but most of this it's all done through Backlink Factory.
Right.
I have not, as far as the link equity on this, it's been a fairly controlled test. And I'm just not seeing any other links aside from those tweet chats that are actually resulting in any sort of backlink to my GMB or to my website. Everything, this is solely done through Backlink Factory.
Well, I think a lot of
I would say you're probably looking 97. I would attribute 97% to it.
I shared this with you or not, I don't know, Brian, but we do have sheets within Bank RFR.
Yeah.
And we do have sheets within GMB, but they're the basic sheets. They don't get into this complexity of what has been created. And I think everybody out there, kind of has to give a shout out to Henrik because, he kind of said, well, that's great, but what if we do what we're supposed to do by creating the stacking? And so this whole stacking concept that you see today, that what you're using, Brian, really just kind of came out of a discussion that he and I were having, and he said, well, I think we should do this and this and this and this, and we could do that, 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 and that. And we know how powerful stacking is because we do cloud stackers and, variant stackers and YouTube stackers. So why not just take the concept that some of us have learned in an overall perspective, through some of the other companies out there, and then drill it down into doing it this way. So this whole architecture, that you're seeing, was shared, one time with Henrik, and all these little boxes pointing to this and this and this, and I'm like, well, that looks pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Will it work? Will it work?
No, and having Henrik to bounce some ideas off of, even in the group, has been fantastic. I mean, this has just been an unbelievably successful campaign, in my opinion.
Cool.
To be able to take something that wasn't ranking within the top 50, top 100, and push it up to number 2 in a matter of a month, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's unheard of.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a testament to how powerful this software is.
See, look now you can go out there and charge $5,000 a month to get this done, and it only costs you $69 and a little bit of your business and a little bit of your time.
Yeah, and basically the time on this is cut down so dramatically too. I mean, you saw Hendrik pulling through some of the architecture for this. If you were to do that manually, I mean, you're talking days, if not longer than that, right, depending on how complex you want your site architecture or your silo structure. Exactly. You can do this in minutes.
Well, we're not done. This is, we got plenty more coming. So we're getting way too long-winded here, and Henrik will yell at me later, says, you talk too much, you ask too many questions. We are here to share information with people. Okay, Dwayne, awesome, great content. I presume you could use G sites instead of the GMB for your buffer. Lee, exactly what Henrik was saying. Matter of fact, it's preferred, as G site is your preferred buffer, because you could do so much more with it, right, Henrik?
Yep.
It allows you to add all of your embeds. It's just crazy what you can do with your G sites as your buffer site. It's the only way to really go. We'll have a training on that at some point. Any last words for Brian or Henrik? Anybody want to say anything? Like, awesome, thank you, appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Great webinar. You know, I like putting words in people's mouth, Brian.
Well, thank you
Anyway,
guys
thanks
very
a lot.
much. This has been a real pleasure, and yeah, fantastic software, definitely.
Oh, yeah, Fitz says, come back in 21 days.
Yeah, let's make a test out of it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Henrik, as always, thank you, not only for your insight, but for helping us with the design and coming up with this awesome structure. Without you, we certainly couldn't be doing what we're doing, so we do appreciate that. All right. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Talk to you guys later. See ya. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.